Yo, what's good, everybody? Today I wanted to talk about fast food, and I thought about this topic a little while ago, and I feel like I say that in every video, and ultimately just wanted to talk about it. But recently, there have been times where, like, you know, I'll want to get something for dinner that's not obviously something that we cook at my house, and I'll be like, all right, I kind of want something healthy, but I want to go out to eat and I want it to be quick. So then I go through all the restaurants in my head and I'm going to list off all the fast food restaurants that are pretty much like very close to my house. So you have Taco Bell, Wendy's, Wingstop, Panda, McDonald's, Subway, Raising Cane's, and some weird ones like Captain D's, Rallies. I don't know. I live in the Midwest, so those are the ones we have. But of all those that I just listed, like, which of those would you consider to be healthy or even like remotely good for you? So if you said zero, I think you're probably right on the money. Subway, that can be categorized as somewhat healthy. Maybe Panda, depending on what you get. But like everything that we eat here in the United States or every fast food option is just extremely unhealthy for you. Not to mention, like, and I looked this up, I mean, some of these meals have like 1,500 calories in them, which is insane. And then not to mention just the insane amount of like burger and fry options. And I might get a little off topic here, but like when I watch videos from people in other countries, like let's just go like with Japan. Japan might be a bad example because they literally just eat like noodles and rice for just about every meal. But like you have the difference between like Japan and like let's just say the convenience stores and how you can find some pretty good healthy meals at just like a local 7-Eleven. And then if I want a pretty nutritious meal, I don't even know where I would go. Like what fast food option would there be? Now, I don't live in like a New York City where there's a lot of like your vegan, very health conscious options. I was in New York City this summer and that's why I know. They're on like every street corner. However, you usually pay like 15 to 20 bucks a meal at those places and that can be pretty expensive. And it's just not a thing here in the Midwest. But what's crazy is like, for example, fun fact for everybody, there's over 200,000 fast food restaurants in the United States. So if you were to like break that down on average per state, even though I know like not every state's going to have this many, but it's around 4,000 fast food restaurants for each state. Like, isn't that insane? And the ones I just listed, the ones that are close to my house, make up like a good majority of those fast food restaurants. And I know like depending on where you live, like regional restaurants are a thing, regional fast food. And it's just interesting to me how like other countries have done a little bit better when it comes to having health conscious items or I guess just their like food in general. So like I've heard people discuss what is American food. And people argue it's like, oh well, it's a hamburger and fries. And then people argue like, oh well, no, the hamburger was invented in Germany. And like fries were invented somewhere else or something like that. So it's like, yeah, technically because we're a melting pot here in the United States, we just don't have, I guess, a lot of fast food. Or excuse me, not a lot of fast food. We don't really have any like cultural food. So therefore, like our go-to is just kind of whatever other cultures have brought, essentially. And so when it comes to making food quickly and profitably, the thing that always sticks out is a burger and fries, which it doesn't take a genius to know that a burger and fries is essentially just terrible for you. Like, I'm not a nutritionist per se, but like I was saying earlier, like you can easily find a meal that would be over 1,500 calories in probably in a burger and fries. And it's just I feel like it's gotten out of control. And it's weird because like in this video, I don't know if I'm really advocating for anything specific, because I would consider, I don't have necessarily any Chipotle's next to me, but I have some Qdobas. And I would say Qdoba and Chipotle are both like pretty healthy places. Like I said, I'm not a nutritionist, but I would go as far as to say those are some of the healthiest places you could eat depending on what you get. And those of course are very popular, and I think there's some health reasons why they are so popular, but they are really like that good. And where I guess I'm going with this is like and this is gonna be interesting, a little bit off topic as well. Recently, I was on a website that showed like the top, I think it was like the top 50 prescribed medicines in the United States, and the drug manufacturer, what the medicine was called, and what it was supposed to help with. And I want to say the top 5 out of 6 were obesity and cholesterol. And so out of all things, it's like, well, what do we think is actually causing that? Like, clearly we have a health problem here in the United States. I could go and make a whole video over some of the foods that we're eating and the artificial dyes that they're putting in some of these foods. Like, they have to be linked to cancer. They just have to be. But I think overall, it's really just the food that we're eating. Like, could you imagine, and this is me really spitballing here, but could you imagine if we looked maybe like a different, like other countries, let's go like Europe, where like not everything's commercialized as heavily as ours is. But let's say we don't have hardly any fast food. Let's say, for example, the most popular restaurants by far are basically a restaurant that's like Chipotle, right? Like pretty fresh ingredients, pretty basic ingredient type food. Like, what would our culture look like when it comes to health? Would we be a lot healthier? Would it really even have an effect, right? Like, I don't know. A lot of people are sedentary in general. They don't move around a lot. And so would it really play that big of a role? I think it would play a small role, but people also have to take care of the other parts of their body. So anyway, I'm not necessarily against fast food. I just think I've been noticing things about the United States and in general. It's like how everything is so corporatized and how fast food has really kind of taken off. I've also noticed a lot of people just aren't cooking at home. It's so crazy to me. Like when I go to Walmart, it's this massive. I went to Walmart at like 10 a.m. on Sunday this past week, and out of the corner were if you go to Walmart, you probably know there's Walmart workers that pick Walmart Plus orders or whatever it's called, and those are like, you drive up to Walmart, they'll put it in your cart, you just order it through the app. There was a train of those workers. They were all coming out of the back. And it was probably like 15 of them, just one after the other. They must have started their shift or whatever at like 10 or whatever time it was. And there were so many. And not only do I get aggravated at that, but it's like, come on, people. Like, what do you like, what possibly, like, what can you be doing, with your time instead of grocery shopping? And I get there's caveats to that. Like, some people have big families, right? Have really big families, and it's like, that's tough to go to the grocery store for all those people. It's easier just to order and have somebody else pick it out. But man, if it's not just a sign of our country. Anyway, I'm off topic. Fast food is crazy. I don't even know if this video made any sense. I just want to talk about it. I don't know. Let me know if you guys like any, let me know your favorite fast food restaurant. Let me know if you think it's healthy or not. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Peace.